So now it is time for my difficult conversation. And today we're talking about mental health. Now, a fantastic charity called It's OK to Say encourages people to speak up and put things in place to support daily needs rather than when things escalate. Mental health is something that we often hear about in the news. So today we're going to talk about why it's important that we don't bottle things up and why we don't talk about it. I'm delighted to say that the CEO of It's OK to Say, Stacey Turner, joins me now. Stacey, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So talk to me about It's OK to Say. Now, this is your charity. You set it up. Mm-hmm. Why?
So I partnered with the Hearts Advertiser, and we launched a campaign to encourage people to, make mental health part of their everyday. And I don't mean just knowing I have mental health. It's becoming more mindful of that, of what we can do to put things, to make every day much easier in terms of recognising what we need, reaching out for support if necessary, what we need to perhaps put in place so that we can live happier and consider our well-being more.
What about your own personal story, though? Because, of course, most people that I meet who are set up things like this have their own sort of personal experience of mental health.
Yeah, so I was always destined for a really nurturing route, most definitely. And my background is rich in psychology. And I very sadly lost my father at the age of 13. And it is a tragic story. And following that, obviously, I spent my teenage years sort of trying to work out why and the difficulties of that.
Can I ask what happened? Because you said it's a tragic story.
Of course,
what happened?
I don't mind talking about it. People know that because I want people to learn from what I've been through. And my dad took his own life, and it was very sudden. He'd made a first attempt, and unfortunately, even though he went into hospital, very sadly, he never, ever recovered, and he was adamant that that's what he wanted. He couldn't cope with the own demons in his mind, and he just got, completely consumed by it, and sadly, he took his life very suddenly.
And what was that like for you then? Because obviously you're growing up.
Yeah.
You're 13. That's a very impressionable age. My daughter, she's 13. She's literally turned into Kevin the teenager. She has. I mean, at 12 and a half it started. Yeah. And at 13 she's like, where's the food in the fridge?
Yeah,
she's skulking around. That must have been very hard for you going through all that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an extremely difficult age. And that's why I say I spent my teenage years really, really struggling. So I am someone that knows as well what it's like to need help and support, as well as know the value that help and support adds to your life. So coming out the other side of that. But my following my father's death, it was just awful. I watched the impact that it had on everyone around me. Yeah. And I am a big empath. And so even as a young girl, I really took that on myself and tried to put my own grief aside. And I think I got to my early 20s and realised that I hadn't grieved for my father properly because I was trying to pick up the pieces and manage what was going on around me. And that was a lot of mental health problems associated with that. Friends and family breaking down, not coping with the situation. And so, yeah, it was quite horrible.
It's been very hard to deal with.
Yes, it was.
But you come through and you said that you were already destined for a nurturing role.
Yeah.
And possibly, did you have brothers and sisters? Did you have brothers and sisters? Did you have to look after them? And did you have to be sort of like almost... And your mother as well. Was she around at the time? And did you have to support her through it too?
Yeah, my mum and my dad separated when I was 3, and but that didn't change anything. Yeah. That didn't change her grief and the love that she remembered that she shared with my father and things like that. So Mum found it very difficult, and I shut down and didn't speak for a very long period of time, and of course that was very difficult for everyone to handle. And I also had, I have a half-sister as well, and there's 10.5 years difference between us. So it was all difficult.
Yeah.
So a lot of kind of just getting through juggling through. No one knew what to do. And of course, now we know more than we did then. And there's much more in place than there was then.
So this is a charity that you set up, It's Okay to Say. What do you mean by that? Is it it's okay to talk about mental health? It's okay to say that you have mental health. Is that how you say it these days?
Yeah.
There's something.
Absolutely, it's in the name because we're also busting stigmas. We don't sweep things under the carpet anymore, and we want people to live a better life. And so what we are saying outright is, no matter what you're going through, what the situation is, no matter how old you are, it is okay to say. And we're here for you, and we want you to reach out for us.
So because I understand you talk to a lot of young people.
Yeah.
Is it sort of focusing on everybody, though, and anyone?
Yeah.
And you've got quite a few supporters. You've got the likes of Chesney Hawkes and some famous people actually getting on board with this. I'm sure I saw somebody really, really famous, like, what was it, Helen Mirren or someone like that?
Oh, Mel Goodroich.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, the wonderful Bob Golding, so our head office is based in St Albans, and as many people know, he was the famous Dame for the Christmas panto for many years, and we became to know each other locally, and he decided that he would kindly get behind the charity and support us. And of course, we came from a campaign, so as I said before, our journey has been, it's a beautiful story within itself, and it's so lovely because even though I've been the one leading it, it's been driven by the community, and we've evolved by listening and finding out what people want, why they want it. How can we be better? What can we do for you?
So you offer support to people and they get in touch, through a website or something like that? Yeah,
we're about to launch a phone line as well. Because of the pandemic, we had to take a bit of a step back and we did everything online like everyone. But we are catching up and we are busy, but we don't want that to stop people reaching out to us because we are nationwide. And our network is growing so significantly in terms of the clinicians that we can offer people. And if people are happy to have support online, then you can be anywhere in the country. So we offer one-to-one support. We offer family group therapy workshops. We also offer support groups. We are known to instigate campaigns. We illuminated the St Albans Cathedral not so long ago for Mental Health Awareness Week, and every year it's illuminated in our charity's colour. And we always get messages, people saying we just find it so comforting because it is a reminder. When you've been through a difficult time, and perhaps, if we're related to the pandemic, we were being told to isolate. And I was there sort of going, I wish they didn't use the word isolate, because people will listen and cling to the word and they will just shut themselves off. And that's not what we want.
Well, I know a lot of people who, especially my mother, older people, they're scared to actually go out now. They isolated so well, now they don't want to come out. And it's interesting, if I go and see my mother, she's sort of like, she didn't even let me in the house, just in case. But listen, you mentioned Bob, he's there now. I'm delighted to say that Bob Golding, the English actor and voice artist, who joins me now. Bob, welcome. Hello, Bob. This is a surprise to Stacey. She wasn't expecting you.
I wasn't. What a lovely surprise. Thank you.
Now, listen, Bob.
Hi, Stacey.
Hi.
You can't get rid of me.
So, Bob, talk to us about this then, because just name a few things about this, because I know you played Eric Morecambe in the feature film Mr. Sunshine, didn't you? And you were the voice of Milo in the Tweenies, weren't you? And also you've been in Thomas the Tank Engine. Why did you decide to sort of get on board with Stacey on this campaign?
Oh, I think nothing to do with anything you just mentioned, because I'm a human being, and I think we all have mental health in as much as we have physical health as well, and it's very important that we address any issues that may come up. More important now than ever, and I guess the pandemic brought that to a front. Certainly on a personal level, I'd never really experienced anything sort of to do with my mental health before. And then when the pandemic hit, I'm a father of 4 kids. Suddenly working in the creative industry, which was shutting down day by day by day by day. We were the first out and the last back. And so the stresses and the worries of that were mounting. And, as a bloke in the UK, we're kind of taught, really, we've been sort of conditioned, if you like, over the years to keep things to ourselves. And people like Stacy, and really, it's not just up to Stacey, really, it's up to all of us to be able to talk to each other and get these problems that we may have to the forefront, and communicate.
Now, how did you hear about Stacey and the charity?
Stacey approached me, obviously, because my connections with the pantomime. And she said, actually, I'm doing a sort of giving out coffee and awareness day by the cathedral in St Albans. So I went down and joined her, giving out balloons and coffee, and we spent what was supposed to be a couple of hours, spent the whole day there, and it was fantastic. And I thought I'd quite like to get involved. After going through what I'd gone through as well with my anxiety, I just thought this would be a nice opportunity to kind of give back. And, I think that's pretty much what we all should do. We shouldn't rely on organisations all the time, but how amazing that people like Stacey and It's OK to Say exist.
Yeah, and how amazing for you to support it as well. Bob, thank you for coming in and joining us and telling us about your involvement in the charity. That's Bob Golding. He's an actor. He's done so many things. Wow. So there you go. A little surprise for you there. You weren't expecting him there.
That was so lovely. Thank you.
No, but obviously your charity's doing well. One person making such a difference to so many people.
Thank you. And thanks to people, like Bob, who are in great positions where they can help spread the word even further. And it's thanks to Bob that it's Chesney Hawkes, Gareth Gates and Margaret Droich and a whole host of other celebrities that have been able to record encouraging messages to people. So I'm really grateful. And I consider myself to be in a very, very special position because I'm trusted by the community. We have lots of people fundraising for us. And
very impressive, Stacey,
it's amazing. And it's been a lovely journey to go from a campaign that was launched with the Hearts ad to then bring on board our local business community to help me turn, with no business background at all, to help me turn the campaign into a charity. And it's what people wanted, and it's what I wanted as well. So it's lovely.
Well, Stacey, look, congratulations and keep everything going. If you had a message, a very brief, short, succinct message to people suffering with mental health, what would you say to them?
Focusing on emotions is that remember that emotions are fleeting and they will change. And sometimes they can last for 3 months, but your situation is not going to be like this forever. But as someone who knows what it's like to feel the benefits of having help and adding value to my life, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Because that's what we're all here for. And there's more and more professionals now than there ever has been. So do it.
If people want to find out more about your charity, where can they find you?
You can go straight to the website. We're all over social media, but you can go straight to the website, which is www.itsokaytosay.org.uk.
Well, Stacey, thank you so much for joining me. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for having me. It's been so nice. And thank you, Bob.
It's good of Bob, isn't it? Well, that is, of course, Stacey Turner. She's the CEO of It's OK to Say. That was Difficult Conversations. We've got more of that now.